Hello, welcome to a quick little tutorial on how to take a Wowza Clearcaster that at the moment has been, as of the 23rd of December, discontinued and therefore now a large lovely orange brick in possibly your setup, and how to reconnect it, remake it into a lovely 1RU PC for other uses if you would like it not to be e-waste. Big shout out to Jonas Dotel from ByteHive for working through this with me. We've been using Clearcasters now for around about 2 or 3 years as part of our main setup, and then we were very disappointed when Wowza decided to end of life them this year in 2023. So we set about trying to work out how we would make this into something useful for our organisation. We're a small theatre, a charity based in Belfast, and having useful equipment that doesn't all of a sudden randomly die is very important to us, as it is probably to you as well. So it's really simple. All we will need to do is essentially open it up, give it a wee check, make sure it's all clean, and then we clear the BIOS and then install Windows. So it's a really simple 3-step process. All you will need is a screwdriver and a copy of Windows on a USB pen for install, and maybe a little pair of pliers if you would like to do a fourth option, which is change out the DeckLink card from the DeckLink recorder, I believe it's inside, over to something like a DeckLink Duo or a Quad or an 8K Pro. So all we're doing is undoing this one, and the case should just slide off. So let's give it a wee go. And then off with the top. So with those 2 screws removed, we have the insides. It's really quite a simple setup inside. It's pretty much just the DeckLink Mini Recorder 4K here, and then we have the main fan over the CPU, the RAM, and the BIOS that we're going to be shorting is just here. If you look up the specs for this, it's labelled as number 15 for this specific board from Gigabyte. And then the SSD is on the other side, so it's actually on the reverse. We won't be tampering with that. Also, then we have the front LED panel just in here, which actually can be repurposed as well, but we're not going through that today. So all we're going to do is short the BIOS here, and that should allow us to start to install Windows onto it. So let me get this, and all we're going to do to short it is then making sure that the power isn't connected, but leaving the CMOS battery in. We're going to just bridge these 2 connectors together, and as I said, the connectors are just at the top here, label number 15. That should be all that it takes to get this fella going and available to use again. So we're just going to close her back up and see whether we have a way into the BIOS. So closing it back up. So I'm just going to grab a keyboard and get it all connected in. There are a number of different connections to the back, multiple different USBs. For this little process, I'm using the top right-hand one as is facing me. And I'm going to plug in an HDMI so we can see what we're doing. Plugging into HDMI port 2. And then I'm going to pop in the power. There we go. If you find that flashing the BIOS, the CMOS, doesn't work for you, the chances are you're on an older version of the firmware. I'll pop some links in the description for access to the firmware for this specific board, but pop it onto a USB pen in the root, so extract it into a formatted FAT32 USB pen, and then you plug it in to the Clearcaster. Recommending that you plug it into the USB connections. If you're looking at the back, the bottom left, the top left should be the only one that's not working. I found that for this kind of thing, the top right is where I put the keyboard, and the bottom left is where I pop the flash drive for the update. When it comes on, all we're going to do is hit the end button. So the end gets us into QFlash, and this is QFlash here. all you're going to do is hit Update BIOS. It's important to have the USB pen in the insert first for them to detect it. So you can see here that it is what we have selected there, but if you hit Enter just onto that, it gives you other options. We've already gone through this process with ours, so that it's only seeing the flash drive there. Then scroll mouse up or arrow up, and then select the firmware, and just hit Enter, and it will start updating the firmware. So once that's updated, all you have to do is restart the Clearcaster again, and then hit Delete to get into the BIOS. And then once we're in the BIOS, we're going to just keyboard over to the BIOS page, and then we're going to change the boot priorities. So at the moment, you can see here that I've selected boot 1 as the Kingston drive and boot 2 as the flash drive. If you reverse that for this initial install, just make sure you've chosen then the flash drive as your boot option 1, and then the Kingston drive as boot option 2. Once that's selected, then save and exit, save config and reset. Then take a Windows USB pen, pop it into that bottom left hand corner USB, and then start to go through the Windows update option. The only thing to look out for in that instance is just deleting some partitions, extra partitions that happen to be there in the Clearcaster, so you can take it down, take away all the different Clearcaster software, all the different partitions, and take it down to just what you will need, which is undefined memory, and then use that as the install for Windows. Then go through all the different setups, things for Windows, and then eventually at the end of that, you will have a Clearcaster changed over to what you need it to be. Your MyCaster is what we call ours. Other options as well is that you can change out the DeckLink card. So the easiest thing to do in that is just open her up, and we will just swap out the DeckLink card. It's as simple as that, obviously installing the right drivers for the DeckLink as well. How we use these little boxes is also we use the second Ethernet connection for a Dante connection. So we use one Ethernet connection for the main network, and then we use the second Ethernet connection for Dante as well. So we're just going to open up, cut the little zip tie off that's securing in the DeckLink mini recorder, and then just the screws here and here at the back just allow us to get access to the DeckLink slot. So we have a 8K Pro here, just like that. It's a bit awkwardly done, but you can do yours a little smoother. So this is our 8K Pro. So it just slides in the same slot. One of the reasons why we do this is then so we have more ins and outs available to us. Obviously, I mean, this is an optional thing. You can put in other DeckLinks as well, depending upon what the needs of your organization are. Close her up, and there we go. We have a little mini PC with a, well, not so mini, but a 1RU PC with an 8K DeckLink installed in it from what otherwise would have been a piece of e-waste. Thank you so much. Hope this has been helpful for you. Like and subscribe, and support Accidental as we are a little theatre just making its way in the world. Thanks very much. Okay, 2 seconds, just get it reconnected. I must say I like the LTT screwdriver, but I need to learn how to use it as a ratchet.